just launched the floor analysis tool in FieldLink, helping us get defined flatness and levelness values for the area that we've scanned. This is a workflow found right underneath the scan icon as well. So just above inspection there at the bottom, we have floor analysis. And to get started with this process, FieldLink kind of will look to do an export of the floor itself. So of the space we've just scanned, remember the X9 or X7 is attempting to kind of capture a full dome. It'll actually now attempt to extract just that floor. Good reminder here that, we'd actually want to go ahead and refine our scan job before we go forward with the floor analysis tool. So let's go ahead and do that. For a small 3-scan example, this shouldn't take very long. But then once this is complete, we'll go back to that floor analysis tool and kind of define our surface area. We'll get a report every time we go through a refinement, just so we can view that. And then just so this data saves, we'll make sure we actually hit save next to that preview icon. So now jumping back to floor analysis, under scan, and floor analysis, and the tool let us kind of define a new floor. So I'll grab this here above the information icon. We're going to add a new floor. We're going to choose our working area. So this is our section box tool. It's full 3-dimensional. So as I actually kind of rotate this here, I can kind of clip down what I'm wanting to do. FieldLink does a good job grabbing the floor itself, but just to avoid any extra area, I'm going to go ahead and kind of just make sure I snag, just get it down to my actual floor that I'll be wanting to run the analysis on. So once that's completed, and we've kind of verified that we meet the minimum area requirement for this tool to work, I'll go ahead and download and sample my floor cloud data here. This takes just a moment to run. Once we have the progress wheel complete, we'll be able to jump to the next step in the process. So now with our floor cloud saved, we'll start to add some of our coverage lines just to kind of further define the floor itself. And based off the square footage of the floor slab that FieldLink extracted, it'll give us a required number of readings. So as I've got my floor, I've got a sample line, tell me that minimum length of 11 feet. So this is just a start and stop drag. I'll get to that 11. It'll let me, I'll go ahead and accept it. It'll create that line. And now it's going to tell me, the minimum number of readings, how many readings I have currently, and how much I have to go. So let me go ahead and just continue to hit this plus sign and add new lines to my drawing. So while I have the open areas, I'm just going to try to make these these lines as long as I can to try to make sure I can get through this minimum requirement. So I probably might be able to get there off of just this third line. I'll probably, because that one is a little close to my second line, I'm going to go ahead and actually just try to put this somewhere new. Go in that direction instead. We'll accept that there. Just based off of area that the scanner did and didn't see, this can take a little bit of trial and error as far as exactly what lines it will accept or won't accept. But once we've hit the minimum coverage requirements, it will let me go ahead and preview this. So it's actually giving me my flatness rating, my levelness rating there on the bottom of the screen. If I go ahead and preview the report, it'll let me input those specified values that we were given earlier. You may have a standard for your area, but typically these are going to vary project to project, and usually something that you'll be able to find the specs books as far as what exactly the flatness or levelness value you need to meet or exceed. So we'll proceed there. It'll go ahead and kind of come up with our report preview. I can manipulate that map screen as far as what exactly I saw. So we were still in the very initial station coloring. That's why we're that blue, the green, the yellow, just thinking about, information from each of those 3 scans. You could have been a black and white scale. We could have been true color. It's telling me, each of the individual lines, and then along with a 90-degree certainty of confidence. So once those are done there, we've got an actual composite floor number that we're able to turn in on this report. Once it's saved locally, again, we might use a project name, a date, as opposed to just that default scan job 1, which FieldLink will use if you haven't actually, gone into the project management screen and, designated your scan. So maybe we'll just call this. And we might just go save it, directly to the actual, wants to know which project it's going to. I might just use that very top one. Once that's selected, I'll go ahead and save. It confirmed that, it did in fact save that report as a PDF. So now I can go back and find that data, share it with anyone else I need to.